Hello peeps and welcome back to Modded Minecraft with Nightdagger, episode 36. I don't normally do this, but I had some audio problems while I was recording the episode, so this is actually a voiceover. So if things don't match up exactly, bear with me a little bit. So I'm trying to re-narrate this as I go along. My microphone wasn't working at all, so as you can see, I have set up for this episode. We are planning on finishing the sorting system for our Industrialcraft room. What I've done so far is I am going to go ahead and make some logistics pipes. I have 20, yes 20, Mark III extractors, and I just made a bunch of Mark I logistics pipes. Now, we're also going to need a logistics power junction for the way that I'm planning on setting this up, so that's a basic logistics pipe, a couple of pieces of redstone, one of the redstone golden chipsets, and some iron. So we'll put that together in the project table. Grab some iron out of our supply house here. And there we go, logistics power junction. I have to say it's really weird watching myself play and commentating on it, as opposed to doing it as I'm going along. I've always said, for some reason, I have no problem talking for 40 minutes while I'm playing Minecraft. I have a major problem watching myself play Minecraft and describing what I'm doing. So hopefully I'll be able to actually record a 40-minute episode. But we'll see. So yeah, you can see I've got a couple holes in the floor here. Those two holes were left by design. One of them is going to be an input for a logistics system. The other one is going to be an output for a Redpower system. Like I said before, I'm planning on marrying logistics pipes and buildcraft, or logistics pipes and Redpower for this build. Because logistics pipes is better at telling items where to go. Redpower is better at handling anything that can cause an overflow. Since you can easily cause overflow if you have a whole bunch of machines that are being taken up, or like if you have a machine that says, hey, all tin come here. Well, once the tin comes in and you get more tin while that's being processed, what are you going to do with it? With Redpower, you can just tell it, hey, go to this block of machines, and it'll find the first available machine. That's what I'm planning on here. So here, this is about to be an intersection. So we need a basic logistics pipe to act as the go-between. Stone pipe there, stone pipe there. Now we drop into the basement, and coming down from the top, and I'm derping around a little bit here trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. And eventually, what I've decided I want to do is I want to move that pipe down. So I put my stone pipe back there, and then I put the Mark I basic pipe, or the Mark I logistics pipe, back down next to the chest. Eventually, I do decide to change my mind again. But I did realize that I'm not going to want a polymorphic item sink for this. I'm going to want an actual item sink. So we're not going to put the pipe back in. Here, we're going to have a basic logistics pipe come down. And then we're going to use that as the connection to the logistics power junction, and the logistics power junction connects to the cable right next to it in order to supply the second logistics system with power. So we'll never have to worry about this logistics system running out of power. It'll constantly be powered by the main power plant. On the side of this, we actually want a basic logistics pipe, so I did go ahead and change it there. And I don't have to be using logistics pipes for this. I'll actually come back and be changing this in a bit. But I did want to put a logistics pipe next to that bat box. Now, not because I want anything to go into the bat box. No, we don't want anything going into that bat box. There's actually a function of logistics pipes that we have that we don't want, or that I've been wanting to show off, but I've never really had a good excuse to show it off. So, I kind of intentionally made a mistake there in order to be able to show off. Here it is, the disconnection upgrade. Basically, one of the newest versions of logistic pipes added upgrades that you can apply to the pipes. There's 2 different ones that I'm aware of. There might be a third, I don't know. There is the disconnection upgrade, which you can put on a pipe, and it is direction specific. So if you look at this pipe, I'm facing south as it's connecting to the bat box. It connects to the south of the pipe, so we need the south upgrade, which, as you can see, is a couple pieces of paper, some redstone, an iron chipset, and a piece of iron. Now, there's also disconnection upgrades for east, west, north, up, and down. And then there's another type of upgrade called a sneaky upgrade, which basically, if you have a pipe that's connecting to the east side, if you use a sneaky up, it will consider that pipe to have been touching the top, even though it's actually touching the east. So for machines with inventory that, actually does count where you put it in, like the side of an electric furnace, if for some reason you can't put something in the side of an electric furnace, you have to put it into the bottom, you can hook it up to the bottom, and then you can use a sneaky upgrade side in order to do what you need to do. I didn't have any paper, so I had to get a little paper to make the disconnection upgrade from my impromptu reed farm that I have set up behind my GregTech facility. I will eventually be going back through and actually making a reed farm, but I'm kind of holding off to show off some new functionality of forestry. I definitely wanted to get all of the stuff moved out of the tower before I start messing around with anything new, though. I want to fix what's broken before I start messing around with new stuff, because if I start messing around with new stuff right now, it's never going to end. It's going to be bad. So, we're going to go back outside, back out to the Industrialcraft room, back down into the basement, and we're going to bust these pipes out of the way, especially since it doesn't need to be there anyway. And we put the disconnection upgrade on, and you can see it disconnected from that battery box. So that pipe will no longer connect to the battery box. We no longer have to worry about anything going in there. And then here I'm replacing the logistics pipes with stone pipes. I did leave 1 or 2 extra logistics pipes in there, just because. And there we go. The logistics part of the system, yep, there we go. Now we're done. The logistics part of the system is pretty much done. Now, I realize I haven't added any of the... I don't know why I was looking at the default route there. Oh, yeah. I was explaining that if you put a connection upgrade or a sneaky upgrade on a logistics pipe, you cannot get it back. So make sure you're clicking on the right pipe, because once you clicked on that pipe, it modifies the behavior of the pipe. It does not actually embed itself on the pipe anywhere. So if you use it on the wrong pipe, you're just out of luck. There's no way to get it back. Anyway, I realize I still haven't put in any of the extractor modules, but I did that intentionally. Because in order to use those modules, well, it's not necessarily in order to use the modules. It's I need access to the stuff that my machines are going to produce to be able to tell the machine how to handle it. Now, the way that this works here is I have a connection coming in from my warehouse to that diamond chest. And then the Redpower system is going to handle putting stuff into the machines, and then the logistics system is going to handle pulling out of the machines. So, we're back in our base, we're collecting all of our Redpower stuff, but we need a way to control where the stuff from that sorting machine is going. What we need to do is we need to make some paint cans, which is tin plates. You need 7 total to get 3 cans. So we need to do 2 sets of this. It's 4 iron and 2 tin. So 2 sets, 2 tin, 4 iron. Back up to the assembly station, which I have not yet. Yeah, I went outside again. I do that once every episode, I swear. Actually, this episode I do it twice. At least. But this is going to get us our tin plates, and you can see I've majorly upgraded my assembly station. I think I have 14 lasers on the wall now. It pulls 75 EU per tick when it's running. I didn't want to sit around and wait for hours for my diamond chipsets for those 20 extractors, so I burned a lot of diamonds making more lasers. So now, there's our paint cans. And paint cans combined with flax and dye will get you paint. So I've decided I want to use red, yellow, and white. So we'll grab the red and yellow, we'll grab some bone meal. We're actually going to need a couple more flax seeds, which I'm going to grab here in just a second. There we go. Oh god, it's only 11 minutes in. I don't know if I can commentate for 40 minutes straight. But that got me my red, that got me my white, that got me my yellow. And then, of course, I haven't set up the flax capacitor yet. So when I go looking for wool in my chest here, there's none there. And I don't have any string either. So I'm going to have to go pay a visit to my mob world. Yep, there's the second time I do the outside thing accidentally. Yep, into the mob world. And you can see I made a small change to this. There's a bunch of dispensers there that are hooked up to a redstone wire with a button up here on my little viewing platform so that I can watch the mobs fall down and crash to their deaths. It never gets old, believe me. But the arrow allows me to shoot arrows at, or the button allows me to shoot arrows at any spiders that happen to survive the fall. Eventually, I fully intend to put a Tesla coil on the back of it, along with some sort of power generation. But haven't gotten there yet. Not much string in the system, so we just have to wait for a little bit. There we go. And yeah, I'm pretty much full up on bones in my system there, so it's sending all of the other crap to be destroyed. Eventually, I might just hook that up to my logistics system, but I don't really see a need to because I have to be in the mob world anyway. So if I'm going to be there, I might as well just pick it up and take it back myself. I don't really see a reason to have the chunk loaded while I'm in the mob world. Which is all it would accomplish if I have a connection to my logistics system. So, stick and wool gets you paintbrush. Paintbrush and paint gets you a colored paintbrush. So now we've got all of our paintbrushes. It's time to go set up the logistics system, or the Redpower system. But I'm also going to use a sneaky trick in order to get the stuff back from the system. Because, remember, I don't want to reconnect back into the original logistics system. I'm using a default route to tell stuff where to go when it comes out of those furnaces and macerators. If I have it come back out of the system, it's going to send it back into my warehouse in powder form, and it's just going to be all sorts of bad. Now, the brown one there is connection to my mining world, which isn't loaded at the moment, which is why it's red. This one is a connection to my farm, but it requires an inventory system connector on both sides with a connection card, and I don't want to have a logistics system on it. So I decide I'm going to use the yellow chest, which just has a plain extractor Mark III on it. That way, anything I dump into that yellow chest will immediately hit the extractor and get pulled out. So I can use that as kind of a cheat connection, as long as I'm within the same dimension. Or actually, I think they cross dimensions. So we'll go ahead and color this chest yellow, yellow, yellow. It now matches up with the chest upstairs that has the extractor module on it. And derping around, forgetting I don't have a front door, let's go outside. Hi, Milo. He doesn't know what to do. I'm sitting here just talking, watching a screen. I'm not playing, which means I have a chance to actually pet him. He doesn't know how to act. Alright, so we have one pipe coming over here that comes down and then connects on top of all of these furnaces. And then we color that pipe red. Red for fire. Red for heat. So, red color on that pipe. Anything on the red lines in the sorting machine, come here. On the macerators, we're going to do the same thing. Except on the macerators, it's going to be colored yellow. I don't know why I chose yellow, other than the fact that it's an easy color to come by. So, that's probably why. Now, I'm not connecting the compressor right now, simply because I don't really need to automatically compress anything that I'm getting at the moment. Eventually, I probably will have it do that with plant balls or something, but I don't need it right now. I did want to connect it to my logistics system, though, so I ran some pipe. Back down into the basement, and now we needed to figure out a way to get over there. The pipe was in the way. I couldn't reach it from the top. Couldn't reach it from the bottom. So what I eventually ended up having to do was come over here and make a mess. Just dig myself a hole underneath. And then run that down through the bottom here. The Buildcraft pipes, the logistics pipes, and the Redpower pipes will not interact with each other, so you can safely do this. And then I'd make a small little derp here, thinking, oh, I want to run the ender chest out straight out from the front, but then I think, no, I don't want to do that, because then I have no way to get underneath there if I need to maintain it. So I dig it out, make a gigantic mess in the process. Eventually I'm going to want to come down into this basement and make it look pretty with stone or something, but for right now, we'll just leave it as a dirt floor. And then eventually I just run the thing off the side. And we put the ender chest on the front there. Dig a little path behind it, with one shrubbery above the other to give a nice little 2-level effect. And derp trying to get my paintbrush and eventually color it white. So that takes care of the actual structure of the sorting system, the auto processing system. Now we just need to come in here, put away all of the crap out of our inventory that we don't need. And that was me commenting that I knew I hadn't put in the extractor pipes yet, but it was intentional, because I need some dusts in order to be able to fully program this machine with what to do. And if I have extractors on those macerators, the dusts are going to come the whole way back to the miscellaneous chest, which is going to suck. I'll have to come the whole way back to get the dust. And then onto the ores chest, where I have a bunch of ores that I haven't processed yet. Pretty much specifically waiting for this moment. So, we've got iron. We've got gold, that handles our vanilla ores. We have 4 different types of tin. 242, 2001, 4035, and 4073. We also have 4 kinds of copper. 242, 2201, or 2001, or something like that. 4035, and 4074. We have 2 types of silver, 242 and 2001. We have 1 type of lead, 2001. We have silver lead, which I'm not doing anything with yet. And we have tungsten. Tungsten is kind of a special case, because tungsten, if we macerate it, we get 2 tungsten dust. If we grind it, we get 2 tungsten dust, 3 iron dust, and 3 manganese dust. Now, it requires a bit more power and it takes a bit more time to process titanium that way than it does to just macerate it. The main byproducts are iron dust and manganese dust. Manganese dust is totally useless. It has no use whatsoever. So I eventually decide here that I want to macerate the tungsten. Yes, it would be nice to get about an additional 3/4 of a bar of iron out of each one, but it's not that critical. It's not worth the extra. It's not worth the amount of extra EU that it would take to process this tungsten over a period of time. Because even a massively upgraded macerator doesn't pull as much as an industrial grinder. Now, however, as I was commenting there, the silver lead ore, if you just process it like silver, you only get 1 bar of silver. Even if you macerate it, you only get 1 silver. Same way with the ferrous. If you macerate it, you get 2 nickel. If you cook it, you get 1 nickel. If you grind that, you get 3 nickel plus some platinum and some copper. With the silver lead ore, if you grind that, you get silver and lead. So that makes sense to grind. That's a significant increased output. So, into here to grab a few more pipes. And I wanted to grab 3 modules because I'm going to make some item sync modules since the polymorphic item sync won't work. The polymorphic item sync that I put in place a couple episodes ago isn't going to work because the sorting machine is going to pull all of the items out of the chest. It's not going to leave one, so we can't have a polymorphic sync there. It's not going to leave anything for the polymorphic sync to see. So we need an item sync, which uses cactus green, redstone iron chipsets, and some redstone and some blank modules. So we'll put that down. We'll grab the redstone out of the table here. Cactus green in place. Put the redstone iron chipset on top. Gets us 3 item syncs. The logistics pipe we have, we're going to upgrade with a couple of redstone golden chipsets. 3 redstone golden chipsets plus that gets you a Mark III logistics chassis, which allows you to hold up to 3 modules. Milo. Hey. Those 3 modules, I plan on being those item syncs. So, back out to the warehouse, back down into the basement, and we'll replace this pipe with the Mark III chassis. The reason why I wanted to do that is that the Mark III chassis will allow me to have all 3 item syncs in there. And those item syncs all independently act. So what I can do is I can have each item sync allows you to have 9 requested items. This allows me to have 3 times that many requested for this chest. So here we're putting in a total of 8 of them. I could have put 9 in, but I didn't feel like it. This is also going to give us expansion capability in the future if we add any more mods that add different ores, or if we decide we want to handle the processing of certain things different, like if we decide we want sand to go here to be processed into glass, we can do that. If we decide that we want to have all of our food come here to be cooked, we can do that. And then we're going to set up 3 of these things with yellow. Reason being, we have 15 different types of ores that need to be macerated in our inventory. So I'll put those in place. Notice that I still have the ores in my inventory because the item sync uses ghost images. It doesn't use the actual ore. The Redpower machine actually uses the ore. And then here I was playing around with selecting the modes, and I selected this one, which actually turns out to be the wrong mode. We'll have to fix this in a little bit, because this mode only pulls one item at a time. It doesn't pull a stack, it pulls an item. The little white lever, the little white button that I just set, is the default handler. It's what happens to something that it doesn't otherwise know what to do with. If it pulls something that has a designated color, it'll send it to that color. If it pulls something that is not designated with a color, it sends it to the default, which is white, which would put it into that wonderful ender chest we have, which will put it right back into my sorting system. So, let's come in here and grab a whole bunch of our ores. Not the silver lead and not the ferrous, because we need to change our handling on those, but we'll grab the tungstate. And we're just going to dump it right into the sorting system and make sure it works. So, we'll dump all the tungstates, we'll dump some of the silver, some of the iron, some of the tin, and that should be good, so let's head back out. And you can see it's all filtering through our system. It's going into the macerators. Now the macerator's handling of it right now is pretty slow. And here we're changing the mode to pull full stacks so that it actually gets on with it. Here we have to break our way out because I don't have a way to climb that yet. Which means later on I'm going to have to go actually get a piece of basalt, because it turned it into basalt cobblestone. You can see because there's no extractors in, right now it's processing dust. We're going to throw the rest of our ores in here, and then realize we made a little bit of a derp. Jump around like a moron for a few seconds. And then we're going to watch as the derp takes place, because we have so much frickin' tungstate that it's going to fly in here, it's going to quickly eat up all of the macerator space, and oh, we've got a whole bunch of ores that don't have anywhere to go. If an ore doesn't have anywhere else to go, it will backtrack to the latest machine that sent it and plug it. So we're going to come in here and we're going to clean out the macerators, get all the tungsten out. And that is going to free up macerator room, so the things are going to pop back out. This is one of the things that makes Redpower so great at handling inventory. If it doesn't have anywhere to go, it's not like it's a logistics pipes or a buildcraft system. If it gets sent out and it doesn't have anywhere to go, in a buildcraft system or a logistics system, it's just going to vomit out. In a Redpower system, it says, oh, well, this isn't a valid inventory anymore. Let's go back where we came from. So now I'm going through collecting all of the dust that we produced this way. Excuse me while I grab a drink real quick. Then we've got a whole bunch of different dust in our inventory now. We're going to come back into here, and this is actually me looking for lead, because I noticed I didn't have any lead dust in my inventory. Well, the reason I don't have any lead dust in my inventory is because I only have one piece of lead, which was fine for programming a logistics pipe, but then when I programmed the sorting machine, it got used. So you see, lead is in the second one, I think. Yeah, there's the lead. So it got used there. It didn't get used there because it's a ghost, but it did get used there. There's not really a whole lot I can do about that. It occurs to me now that I could have grabbed a piece of lead out of my system, but I'm not sure if it would give me thermal expansion lead. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get thermal expansion lead or whether I'm going to get Greg Tech lead. So I'm holding off on that. Now we're putting the dust in the sorting machine, but we're not going to put the tungsten dust in there. Tungsten will not cook in a standard furnace. You can't send it to be cooked in a furnace. I do want to have that other red one though, because eventually I'm going to put lead dust in there. The tungsten has to be cooked in an industrial blast furnace. Same with aluminum, same with chrome. If we toss the tungsten in there, it's going to come back to here, it's going to get dumped into the ender chest. Remember, it doesn't know what to do with tungsten, so it uses the default handling. The rest of the stuff, it knows what to do, it knows it's supposed to be cooked. So it's going to send it up here, tagged red, dump into these furnaces, and cook up into some nice bars for us. Now notice we're getting copper 9258 out of that. That's going to end up confusing me a little bit later. So, we put the extractor modules in here, and now, with the extractor modules, and these are Mark III extractor modules, so they don't mess around. They pull as much stuff as they possibly can pull in one tick. So, it doesn't take very long at all for stuff to get pulled out. That finishes all the extractor modules for the macerators. Now it's going to be sending some dust up to get processed for us. Extractor modules on the furnaces are going to allow it to pull the bars out for us. And then remember that we haven't told the sorting machine to do anything special with bars. So when the bars get pulled out and get dumped back into that chest, the sorting machine is going to pull it out and it's going to say, oh, I don't know what to do with this. Let's dump it into the default route and send it into that yellow ender chest. We'll put an extractor module in here for good measure. You can see all those bars getting pulled out. And they're getting thrown into that yellow chest, which is dumping them right back into my sorting system. And the logistics power junction there is being fully supplied by my power plant, so I'll never have to worry about that secondary system running out of power. Unlike my forestry system, which I'm having to keep an eye on because I'm running into some supply issues. I'm also running into some major supply issues with peat. Because automating the production of humus, that's easy. Fertilizer is easy to get. Peat, bog earth, not so much. Now, here you can see I've got two different types of tin. I've got 2260 tin, and I've got 9258 tin. Now, having two different types of tin when you've got an automatic crafting system is not necessarily a good thing. I don't currently have any crafting recipes that use tin, but I probably will down the road. What this means is that I'm going to want to unify into one type of tin. Now, that one type of tin is going to be whatever my system produces, which is that 9268. Now, I've got this 9258 copper and all this 2260. This is where I get confused, because my logistics crafting system uses 2260, and if I look in my miscellaneous chest, or wait, no. For some reason, I thought my system was spitting out the 2260 copper when it macerated the copper and then spat it back out and cooked it. So I brought these 9258 bars to be macerated, which is going to give me the Industrialcraft / GregTech version of copper, which is then going to get sent into the blast furnaces, which is going to get cooked right back into the same type of copper, and not the 2260 copper that I was hoping it was going to be. But I haven't quite caught on to that yet. You'll get to see my confusion in a minute or two here. See, here's the Industrialcraft version of the copper coming up. It's going to go into the second furnace, and there it's the 21257. What confused me the most is that it's 21257 copper, which is the Industrialcraft RegTech version. But when it gets cooked in a furnace, it doesn't cook to that version of copper. It cooks down to, I think, thermal expansion copper, which didn't make sense to me. Anyway, eventually what I'm going to have to do with my aluminum, my tungsten, and my chrome is I'm going to want to have logistics systems or Redpower systems like I have set up over there in order to supply the blast furnaces that I'm going to have set up. However, I don't want to automate that yet, because if I were to automate the production of tungsten, I would run out of power. I haven't really addressed Industrialcraft power too much yet. Yes, I do currently have 12 full MFSUs and a partially full AESU, but if I had tungsten running on that thing 24/7, 1 bar of tungsten takes 250,000 EU to cook. I am not producing enough power to sustain that much of a constant draw. I can, however, macerate it and get ready for the future. And let's go ahead and dump our inventory. And whenever you are storing modules, it's very important that you put them in your crafting table and make sure that they are cleared. If you have a module with any sort of information stored in it and you try to quick sort it, you're going to crash your game. And then here's my confusion, because I got 9258 copper back here. And I'm thinking it's supposed to be the other copper. So I'm going, wait, what? What is this? Why have I got this copper? I'm supposed to be getting this copper. No, I'm not supposed to be getting that copper. So we're going to go through here and confirm it. There's the copper ore. And if you cook that copper ore, it gives you a 9258 bar. If you macerate it, it gives you a 21257 copper dust, and if you cook a 21257 dust, it gives you a 9258 copper ore. And then I look at the other one, and this is where the light comes on. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. That means that I have to macerate all of this copper down too to consolidate it down to a single block type. And then I'm also going to want to go change my logistics system so that anytime it tries to craft, it's using the right copper. So I'm not trying to craft copper wires out of the 21258 copper or the 21260 copper. So, yeah, I have a lot of work to do between episodes. But when don't I? So, let's grab some marble. I couldn't remember which type of marble my floor used. I knew it used smooth basalt, I just couldn't remember the type of marble. So, sleeping through the night. Going back outside. Apparently it had been raining, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not using solar. And then here I derp. Hey, look at that. Oops, made a mistake. Whatever. Coming down here, figure while I've got the thing open, we may as well check our Redpower Bluetricity supplies. Make sure the thermopiles we have are holding up, which they are beautifully. Apparently we have enough thermopiles to run a sorting machine, not losing any power, so we don't have to worry about any sort of other strange generation. We don't have to worry about our logistics power because of that thing being hooked up to our power line. The only time we're going to run into an issue with the sorting system is if our Industrialcraft power runs completely dry. Now, I am going to want to come through here between episodes and fully overclock all of these machines. I'm wanting to have at least 4, preferably 8. But at this point, the episode was starting to run pretty long. Well, not pretty long, it's just about the right time. It's 39:38 as I'm looking at this now. So, this is where I decided I needed to wrap up the episode. And I've actually managed to watch myself play for 40 minutes straight with my cat making massive amounts of noise in the background again. Thank you, Milo. Yeah, come here. Kitty, kitty. So, say it, Milo. This has been Nightdagger with Let's Play Modded Minecraft, voicing over episode 36 since my microphone had a major derp. Between episodes, I'm going to overclock the machines, I'm going to unify all of my types of bars, and I'm going to do a little bit more work in moving stuff out of the tower and getting it down here, because I want to, I want to start nicing up my tower and making it look like a home. So, we'll get to that pretty soon. I'll see you guys later.